I want to go home.
Child prostitution is flourishing in America's cities and suburbs. That includes the city of Atlanta, where a shameful secret industry is exposed in Atlanta Magazine. The article was written by freelance journalist Nikki Goodman.
Two big problems we have here in Atlanta. One is that, it's not a problem, I mean, it's also an asset to Atlanta's Hartsfield Airport has easy access and exit anywhere in the world. And predators can go on the internet, find a site, find a pimp who will bring them into Atlanta, meet them at the airport in a limousine, take them to a hotel or an apartment or even an office building where more than one girl or boy, young boy, is housed, and then the men are home in time for dinner with their families.
Why they fall for, these what seemingly are enticing invitations?
One reason they fall for it, I think, is that pimps don't look like pimps anymore. They don't drive up in the fancy limousines with the gold jewelry. They're the cool kid with the fancy clothes and the coolest jeans. And teenage girls are particularly vulnerable, I think, to good-looking young men. And they are easily taken in, thinking that this person is in love with them.
Being with this trafficker, being with this pimp who protects me, who says he loves me, and yes, I'm physically abused, and yes, I'm sexually exploited, but it's a lot better than my stepfather coming into my bed every other night. Those vulnerabilities are some of the greatest when a lifestyle of sexual exploitation is better than what you have at home. From my experience, the critical point for a victim to leave the predator, to leave the trafficker, is when your will and desire to leave that lifestyle is greater than the risk that you have to take to walk away. Whether it means physical abuse, whether your family is threatened, that will and that desire to be beyond that point in your life is greater than the risk that you have to take. And it's very similar to domestic violence relationships, where it's hard to understand why that wife won't leave her husband, beating after beating after beating. And there's a trauma bond, and there's an emotional bond, and there's the psychological bond is so strong that it affects, the decision making of whether to leave and whether to stay. The most important thing I would want the general public to understand is that they're victims. They're victims. Quite often you'll hear the words, well, she's fast and she's promiscuous and she's this and she's that and she's up to no good and she'll never be anything. And the general public fails to realize that it started somewhere. She wasn't born that way. It started somewhere, and somewhere within that time before this point, she was a victim. She was a survivor before she even was sexually exploited.